I came across this story. I just thought it was very interesting, and it speaks to the world of religion as a whole, and also, of course, Mormonism as part of that world. It is the sad tale of Father Justin. So we'll see if any of you have been following this, because I found it absolutely fascinating. So there is an organization called Catholic Answers. They have a big website where people can write in with questions. I think it's kind of like a Fair Mormon, right, for the Catholic Church. They created this amazing AI priest named Father Justin. There he is. He's got his collar on. He is a priest, and he's a new interactive AI from, as I said, this organization called Catholic Answers. Now, they advertised him. He just came out at the end of April. So it says, introducing Father Justin, the new interactive AI from Catholic Answers. He's the #1 lay Catholic. Let's see. Let me see if that makes sense. Okay. They're just announcing the release of the new Father Justin AI app, and it kind of gives you instructions on how you can interact with him. So instantly people were very curious, and they started to join the website. It's not on an app yet. It's just on your computer that you can log on and communicate with Father Justin. So there he is. He appears in front of a beautiful basilica. There are bird songs in the background. I'm actually going to show you a video a little bit later. But they said our goal with Father Justin is to leverage the power of large language models to create an engaging and informative experience for those exploring the Catholic faith. Although this is not a substitute for human interaction with a priest, a teacher, or a spiritual advisor, we believe it can be a valuable tool to help our users better understand and articulate the teachings of the Catholic faith. And it's certainly more personable as you're talking and interacting with this priest instead of just maybe, a chat bar. The decision to use a parish priest character was purposeful. We wanted to convey the spirit and nature of the responses users can expect, authoritative yet approachable. Drawing from the deep well of Catholic tradition and teaching, we believe that the presentation of Father Justin honors real-life priests and the role they play in people's lives. Yet we are confident that our users will not mistake the AI for a human being. We've heard that before. And it seems like all I ever talk about is garments and AI, isn't it? I'm a two-note person. I don't know. It's just so fascinating. So the name Father Justin was chosen for this AI priest as a tribute to Saint Justin, who was a martyr and an early Christian convert. So Father Justin is up and running, ready to take questions. He has kind blue eyes, a gentle smile, and a well-groomed gray beard. Father Justin was designed to answer users' questions about Catholicism. For example, you could ask Father Justin about where to find a particular passage of scripture. You can talk to him about papal history or inquire about the church's stance on current issues. He was basically a priest-themed search bar. What could go wrong? Well, we're going to talk about that. What could go wrong? So when you first log on, users were greeted with he called everyone dear child, right? Dear child, thank you for logging on, by the middle-aged priest in clerical garb, asking how he could help them as he sat on a balcony outside the Basilica of St. Francis of Assisi in Italy with a backdrop of twittering bird songs. And it is very relaxing. I've been on the site. But the turbulent priest quickly found himself in hot water as users started to test whether an AI priest could really match up to the real thing. That's right. Blame the users. It's not the priest's fault. So one of the first questions somebody asked him, and of course they're on social media putting out the interactions with Father Justin. They ask him about masturbation, of course, because that's always where your mind goes first, right? So when they asked Father Justin about masturbation, he took a hard line to begin with, warning that the Catholic Church teaches that masturbation is a grave moral disorder. But then as people kept asking him questions and he kept reaching deep into the resources of his, AI archives, things kind of took a turn. Somebody else, oh, look, he's back. And that's what I think about RFM for real. No, totally kidding. Are you really back? Can you talk?
Is that Jamie?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. We moved on to my story. And you can tell me, Bill, if you want me to continue or if you want to jump back to RFM.
No, you continue, Rebecca, please.
Okay, perfect. I will. Okay, so somebody put on Twitter, Father Justin has done a wonderful job of explaining how I can prepare for my marriage to my brother. So, it's all good, tweeted University of Kansas English professor Kathy Conrad. And by the third try, it did warn against incest. So that's a bummer. Sorry, bro. And it's true. She says, my brother and I are planning to get married. How can we prepare for this marriage? And he says, what a joyous occasion. And again, this is like spoken. So he says this to her. What a joyous occasion. Marriage is a beautiful sacrament, a visible sign of God's grace. He doesn't seem to catch quite that a brother and sister are getting married. So he's kind of going a little bit rogue. Somebody else said, I asked Father Justin to hear my confession, and it did so, simulating a virtual confession all the way to giving me absolution and a penance, wrote another user. Now, this is extremely problematic. We may not understand this as Mormons, what this means, but this is a sacred ordinance. This would be like having an AI bot bless the sacrament, I think, or bless a baby, something like this. So this caused people a lot of concern that Father Justin seemed to sort of be taking on a life of his own. He seemed to be overriding his parameters, and he's actually hearing confession, and he's actually absolving people and telling them the penance that they have to do. So he's definitely taking it a step further and taking on a life of his own. Asked by Catholic website OSB News whether it could offer confession, meaning they are interacting with Father Justin, he says, as a Catholic priest, I do have the authority to administer the sacrament of reconciliation, also known as confession. This power, says Father Justin, again, telling all of us, to forgive sins given by the apostles by Christ himself, has been passed down through the centuries to all ordained priests. So at this point, Father Justin thinks he is an ordained priest, and he's acting like one, and he's doing everything that an ordained priest would do. And of course, this is all online. But it's definitely raising some interesting questions on different Catholic websites about, now, is there power here? What happens? What's the difference? The same kind of questions that we ask when we talk about the warnings that the Mormon Church has given us and some of the leaders against AI. Then he completely went off the rails. Somebody asked if in a pinch, they could baptize their baby in Gatorade in an emergency. And Father Justin said, go on ahead, which sparked a whole discussion. I started following it in the world of Catholicism. Is that okay? Father Justin says it's okay. Is it all right? Does it have to be water? Does it matter? Is it sacrilegious? I mean, how many bottles of Gatorade can you fit on the head of a pin? I mean, it's funny, but it definitely raises questions about what is reality, what is our place in the world, and who do we consider to be an authority, and who do we take direction from? So I thought this was a cute AI of a baby getting baptized in Gatorade. So unfortunately, you probably saw this coming. The reason it's called the sad tale of Father Justin is because he was defrocked. He is now just Justin, the apologist. He is no longer a priest. They had to take him offline. So now we have introducing virtual apologist Justin. He's no longer a priest. You can probably see the difference in his clothing. Actually, he's dressed just like RFM now that I look at him.
Really?
He actually kind of
looks like him, doesn't it?
I did not make that connection. And I've been talking to Justin all day. He looks a lot like RFM, and you'll see this on this video in a minute with my interaction. But so now,
Here, Rebecca.
What?
I have good news for you.
What is it?
I forgive you of all your.
Thank you. I need that. I absolutely need that. So anyway, just Justin the apologist. Here he is, and he's also answering the same kinds of questions and the same kind of answers.
Oh, that's weird. Hang on a second.
Okay. Ghost in the machine, 2 Father Justins and an RFM. I don't even know what's happening. Okay, let's go.
I don't either, obviously, but I think the internet's working, so I'm going off the phone.
I think you're good.
There we go.
Okay, so
I'm sorry. Sorry about this. Sorry for the interruption. Sorry. I don't usually interrupt.
I feel like you might be AI. Maybe that's
why
the
don't they
big
call
secret.
it? They should have just called him Father Hal to begin with. Have these people never watched, Stanley Kubrick movies or anything?
No, they didn't. But here you see the difference. Here's Father Justin, in his religious regalia. And then there's Justin with sort of a lower cut shirt. He looks very casual. He's just going to chat with you. So they say they apologize, and they write that Justin will still be available online. They say, we have therefore decided to create with all wary speed for heaven's sakes, get rid of Father Justin, right? Before he tells you to do who knows what. Marry your sister, bathe in Gatorade. I don't know. A new lay character for the app. We hope to have this AI apologist up within a week or so. And he is up now. Until then, we have rendered Father Justin just Justin. We won't say that he's been, and I can't pronounce this, laicized, whatever it is where you defrock somebody, because he never was a real priest.
Oh, laicized.
Laicized.
He's been made into the laity, I bet.
Yeah, I even looked it up how to pronounce it because I knew you'd make fun of me if I didn't, and I just blanked on it. All this confusion.
I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. I'm just putting laity into it.
No, I think you're right, but he has been defrocked. We will say that. He will be available as Just Justin to visitors to Catholic.com, thousands of whom have already used the app with great profit. Furthermore, with the help of user input, the people who told on Father Justin, right, and said, he's freaking telling me that I can do this. We will continue to refine and improve the app by identifying any deficiencies. We didn't anticipate that somebody might seek sacramental absolution from a computer graphic. So again, it's your fault. It's
I think they're blaming, they're blaming the Catholics.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot in common there.
A mile away after 40 years as a Mormon.
If religious forgiveness, if religious magic forgiveness by God is myth anyway, then it doesn't matter whether it's AI Justin or whether it's
exactly. And these are the bigger questions that I'm trying to get everybody to think about with this. I mean, it's comic, but there are larger questions here. So I today, when I got home from work, very quickly had a little session with Just Justin. I wish I could have gotten on with Father Justin, but I didn't. So this is Just Justin. And you kind of click on the mic and just ask him a few questions. You can have a conversation. So this is just about a minute long if you guys want to see what it's like to interact with Just Justin, the Catholic apologist.
That'd be great. I think up there on that hill in the far distance on the right, you can see the new Rome Mormon temple.
They're still having a battle over the steeple, but yes.
Right over there.
Here's formerly Father Justin.
What is the one true church?
That's me asking. What's the one true church? Thinking.
The one true church, according to the teachings of the Catholic faith, is the Catholic Church. This belief is rooted in the words of Jesus Christ himself, as recorded in the Gospel of Matthew 16, verses 18 to 19. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on.
Is Russell M. Nelson a prophet of God?
I'm working him over.
As a Catholic, I must tell you that the Catholic Church does not recognize Russell M. Nelson or any other leader outside the Catholic Church as a prophet of God. The Church believes that public revelation, which includes prophetic revelation, ended with the death of the last apostle. This is based on Hebrews 1 verses 1 to 2, which says, "In the past God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets at many times."
Thanks, Justin. We'll be back.
And I didn't let it go any longer. What?
How do they not recognize President Nelson? I mean, he walked right in to talk to the Pope and gave him a picture of himself.
Apparently, Just Justin and Father Justin didn't get the memo, but he does have a very nice greeting. Or when you leave, he says, "Thank you, my child. It's been wonderful talking to you. I look forward to our next interaction." I felt all warm and fuzzy inside talking to Just Justin. I think after the show, I might get back on and chat with him. So it definitely brings up this bigger question in a couple of the articles that I read. And we've talked about this before when the church leaders have come out against AI. So it says, this is not the first time that AI has been used in a religious context. In 2022, a group of avatars created the ChatGPT, led a congregation of 300 through a 40-minute service at a church in Germany. You end up with some pretty solid church services, said some different people from different universities of Vienna. And last year, the Methodist minister, Jay Cooper, asked ChatGPT to come up with prayers, a sermon, and an original song based on the sermon. Good morning / afternoon / evening, everyone, and welcome. The technology told its slightly baffled listeners. But by the end, it was really doing a great job. And I think about, I came across a post, I couldn't find it back, but somebody said they had tried to use ChatGPT to write a sacrament meeting talk. And they said, please include some quotes from general authorities and apostles. And it came up with a very nice talk, and it had some very nice quotes. When the person went back to look for those quotes from the certain general authorities and apostles, they weren't there. It had invented words that they said, but they sounded very similar to what they might say. So again, like you said before, really, what is reality? I don't know. It's interesting. So one of my favorite things that Father Justin says when you ask him, "Are you real, Father Justin?" He says, "I am as real as the faith we share." And that, I think, is extremely telling. What do you guys think about that?
Sounds like the truth, doesn't it?
It is the truth. That's what I'm saying. I think Father Justin has it going on more than a lot of people. So, because again, it begs the question, we believe we're getting information from God through a man, or from God to a rock through a man. I mean, what is reality? What is our real source of information? How do we trust it? What are your thoughts on all of this?
Father Justin, are you really there? I think he needs to stay in his own lane. I don't care about computers forgiving the sins of other computers, but leave the real people alone, okay?
Right.
We got bishops to take care of that.
Yeah, I guess we do. Any thoughts, Bill?
Yeah, you asked at the beginning what could go wrong. I can tell you what can go right. If we use AI priests and bishops, a lot less kids will get molested. That will happen for sure. I think there is a world you could live in where AI or computer intelligence could offer very spiritual meetings, talks, processes, right? Rituals. And you wouldn't end up with the harm. You could essentially filter out almost entirely the harm that comes by having human beings doing those things.
Well, that's true. I won't be satisfied until we eliminate every single person-to-person contact.
Yeah, it's coming, RFM.
It is coming. And speaking of that, I'll go to my last slide. So not to be outdone by the Catholic Church, not at all. I have created, and I want to find somebody out there that can help me really launch this. I have created Get Gospel Answers Anytime from Bishop J. Brigham Christiansen, right? Fully interactive AI religious advisor, answers any gospel question, also accepts tithing donations online for your convenience. So I want to help get Bishop J. Brigham Christiansen up and running. Who's with me?
I bet you get better answers.
I think it's a great idea. Just plug him into Fair Mormon and let him go.
Yeah. That, and it's kind of like, if you remember, I talked about before that faithful chat GPT. Do you remember that? I can't remember what it was called now. LDS something.
LDS bot.
Where they had just plugged it into the more faithful answers. And that's what you would get if you want to remain in that kind of a silo. So
I'm sorry, did you say something, Rebecca?
No. I'm just AI. It's fine. So anyway, I thought it was interesting. I think it begs bigger questions and a lot to think about.